Hey, how's the preparation been going here, getting ready for the New York Jets?
Yeah, obviously, coming off, a great team win, we're just looking to keep it going. With the energy and the passion that everyone played with on Sunday, we got to find a way. Like I said, at the end of the game, we got to find a way to win back-to-back games. Something that we haven't done since the first 2 weeks. So we got to be able to put a great week of practice together and, great travel and go up there and be able to come out with a win.
And just going over stuff from last game, how do you can you go through your process on when to scramble, how to scramble, when's it a good time, and when it's maybe a situation where you want to scramble to throw it away?
Yeah, like I talked about, there's obviously certain defenses, and some defense, spy the quarterback, have a key guy to kind of keep a look, and some don't. And like I said last week, the Saints defense was the defense who plays a lot of match coverage and they're underneath, whether that's their backers and their corners underneath. So it takes the eyes off the quarterbacks, and, we saw that on film, saw that, we were going to have the opportunity to use our legs that other quarterbacks in the past against the Saints were able to use their legs. So it's not something that's predetermined. It's something that's obviously go throughout the field of the game, how the D-line's rushing, are they doing a whole bunch of stunts or not? Stunts kind of mess that up. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not predetermined. It's just something that goes with feel.
In terms of the turnovers, you do have 2 more picks again. Have you been able to figure out why kind of turnovers seem to be an issue still?
Yeah, no, like we said, at the end of the day, got to find out a better way to take care of the ball. That second one, probably didn't need to force it. 1st and 10 plus side of the field, just get a positive play. You got Drake coming back down to check down, come across the field. Could have checked down there, gave it to the back. And then the other one to Bijan. We just got to be on the same page there with the angle he's coming out, put a better ball on him. But like we said, at the end of the day, it's all about turnovers. It's all about the ball, winning the turnover margin. That's something that we got to improve on.
I realize this is a bigger, broader question, but do you feel at all like these next 6 weeks play a big role in your future?
I feel like this week plays a big role in everyone's future. We're not worried about, the next 6 weeks or anything else. We're worried about today as Wednesday to get better today and to get ready and get better for Sunday.
What advantage do you have having played with Sauce Gardner and now you're going up against him in the NFL? Anything that you can kind of remember or any fun memories going up against him that you see?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of talking going on, a lot of chirping back and forth. But, at the end of the day, it was just making each other better. He had a great guy against Alec Pierce to go up against every single day. Obviously, he's doing his thing in Indy, but it was just constant competition. So at the end of the day, it's just making everyone better.
So, do you guys have anything riding on this game or anything fun going on between you or anything like that?
No, we don't bet.
Skyline versus Gold Star going? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't think any of us are touching any of that anytime soon. We'll make it to the game on Sunday.
Week 13, you feel like this team has established the things you want to establish with, as far as identity-wise? Not just how you guys see it, but, your perception, you feel like you're still working on that?
Yeah, I feel like, we're almost there. Like we said, I know this past weekend was a great start of, who we were. When you talk about last year and finishing up last season and obviously who we want to be, and that's just a physical, tough, dominant team on all sides of the ball. And, you go look and turn on the film from last week and you look at the O-line, you look at the D-line, it's just a displacement of them. They're moving the lines of scrimmage in a positive way for both sides of the ball. And it just makes our game and obviously my game and the run game obviously go. From the defensive standpoint, being able to affect the quarterback, not making them move outside the pocket, it's just huge for all of us.
When the offensive line gets into a role like they did in the second half, do you notice any difference in the huddle, in their demeanor, and are they talking more, are they talking less? Do you see any difference?
No, I think with those guys, the 5 guys that we have, it's really streamlined. They're locked in every single play, ready to go, juiced up. There's not much. Obviously, they have their communication on their plays that they're doing. But in the huddle, it's locked in, ready to go, and I'm sure they perk up a little bit when they hear a run play before a pass play. But, no, I mean, they're juiced up, ready to go every single play, no matter what's called.
More on the run game. A lot of teams, including the Jets, can offer 2 upper-tier backs. But when you add CP to the Falcons mix last week and the attitude he ran with, how important is that for you guys establishing that identity you're talking about?
Oh, it's huge. Anytime you give the guy a ball, you want to see a physical, tough runner. And all three of the guys that we have back there in the backfield, can get that done. So when you're able to just kind of rotate them in and let them get in a groove and run how they run, it's hard to stop. And like we said, especially when you got 5 guys up front who are dominating the line of scrimmage and moving the line of scrimmage the way they did, it's tough to stop.
How did the way that Taylor handled the Tuesday meetings when he was starting affect the way you processed the whole situation?
It didn't really affect, like I said, when I told you guys this from the start too, you say I run the meetings, and yes, I do, but I want to make it as much open conversation as possible. So obviously he was in there, I was running in, then, he'd chime in to what he thought he was going to see or what he thought he felt, and then it'd go back to me, just questioning guys of, what's your route, what are you thinking here, what are you doing here, but yeah.
It seems like in that interim, though, he could have said, all right, I'm running the show now, and things might have gone differently. Is that true?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. Like we said, myself and Taylor and whoever else you want to put out there, everyone can handle it one of 2 ways. You're going to handle it a toxic way, or you're going to handle it a healthy way. And, we obviously chose the healthy route.
The way that he chose to handle it, do you think it helps you to kind of get through that situation positively? Oh,
for sure. Like we said, you got a negative guy in there who can then make it all about him and not make it about the team. It's not only going to hurt, the quarterback room in general, but it's going to hurt the team as well.
I know you said that in those 2 games that you were out, that you learned how to be a good, true backup quarterback, but looking at yourself in the mirror, what did you learn about yourself in those 2 games?
Yeah, I learned that, not necessarily talking about, being benched or whatever it may be, but, this time in this game, it can come and go. You can't take nothing for granted. You can't take a single play for granted. You have to take advantage of every opportunity that's given to you when it's given to you. So just make sure that obviously, when that next time were to come, that you're doing everything possible to keep yourself in that situation.
I know you were probably anxious just to get back out there as the starter, so how good did it feel just to be the starter again?
Oh, it felt great. It felt great, obviously, to be out there, not only just to be out there, but to be out there to battle with my brothers. To be out of the battle with the guys that, we put a lot of work in throughout the offseason, throughout training camp, to be able to go out there and put our product on film. So obviously to be out there to be out there and play in front of a home crowd, which, the atmosphere was crazy in that, to be able to go out there, play the Saints and get a win, it was huge.
Going back to what you were talking about with the need for consistency in wins, I guess I was just curious, what can kind of be replicated from last week's prep into this week and maybe even should be replicated?
Yeah, I would just say the constant energy and just what we do out there as far as, coming off the ball with speed, playing, last week we saw guys getting pancaked. It's week 12, week 13. You usually don't see that in the NFL practice. So not only on the offensive side of the ball, but, the defensive scout team, the offensive scout team giving great looks. Those guys are the unspoken heroes of all the teams, of the ones who are going out there and giving all the looks and, sacrificing their bodies for the ones of the team. It's just you see competition both ways because those scout team guys are also fighting for the jobs, fighting for reps to get on the field. So when you go out there and you put a guy on scout team and say, hey, I want you to be this guy or I need you to do this, they're going to do it as hard as they can because they're trying to earn a helmet on Sunday.
The Jets opened Aaron Rodgers' quarterback window or practice window, I guess a couple minutes ago, for the 21 days. Playing quarterback, and seeing him coming back from an Achilles injury, potentially 3-4 months. How can you as a quarterback process that? Is that how do you look at that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a great feat for Aaron. I'm not Aaron, so I can't tell you how he feels or, what his process is or what he's going through. But I know as anyone who has been injured in this game, whether at any level, they're going to work their butts off to try to get back as fast as they can. One, because, the love of the game that they have, they always want to be out there. And two, like I said earlier, they've put in the work and time with their brothers and teammates to be able to go out there and play. So they're going to do everything possible to get out there and play.
Can you tell us about your My Cause My Cleats and how you chose that organization?
Yeah, my Cause My Cleats is Mau Mau's Pals. It's my little cousin Mallory. She has Down syndrome, and so it's our foundation through the Down syndrome of Louisville. So just supporting those who obviously have Down syndrome and just opening awareness.
The design or anything, or is that all them? Or?
No, it's all them. I kind of give the colors, and then they kind of have the freedom to do what they want.
Is there significance to the orange?
Like I said, that's just part of her colors. For yeah.
I don't know if that was a you thing.
No.
Was Aaron a guy that you particularly tried to pick up anything from as a younger quarterback?
You know, we've had a few conversations, you know, in the off season. I think it was pre-draft and obviously last year with a company called RX3. We do a charity 7-on-7 tournament. So I was able to, you know, be with him for a couple days and play with him, you know, play against him in 7-on. So it was fun being out there, you know, out there in tennis shoes as a quarterback, just joking around, throwing the ball. But, you know, we're just having fun. Just, you know, talking to him, picking his head about just kind of his preparation and how he goes about things. And obviously, you know, his longevity in the league, you know, how he's done it for so long at such a high level. Like I said, it doesn't matter who it is or what position or what sport. When you're one of the best at something, you know, you're always going to try to pick their brain.
Is there a nugget from that conversation that's particularly stuck with you?
Yeah, I'll keep that between us, though.
Obviously, none of us were surprised, but Jessie Bates was named the NFC Player of the Week. Just your reaction to his overall play in that game and just how big he is for your team.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys know. You know, he puts in the most work, you know, almost out of anyone on the team. So it's, you know, not surprising to any of us that he's going out here and performing the way he does. He's a leader not only on the defense but as a team as a whole. He's a person that, you know, all 53, all the guys count on in that locker room. And, you know, he shows up in big times and makes big-time plays.
Same with Koo. There was a cool stat on ESPN. He's like, I think 0.1% higher than Tucker on, like, completions for his career. Just what does he mean to the team, and how cool is it to kind of see a guy like that, I don't know, with big HUD and moved around, have so much success now?
Yeah, no, for me personally, you know, shout out to all my kickers. I love y'all from way back when. But, you know, for me, you know, every time we had to go to a field goal or whatever it may have been in college, high school, like, it's flipping a coin. And so, you know, in having Koo, you know, it's security. You know, you, like, cross that 50, you get about 10 more yards, and you're like, okay, we got 3 points. And so obviously just have the security to know that, you know, he does his job and does his job very well. And not only Koo, but you got to give credit to Liam. You got to give credit to Bradley as well, that trio that just has a seamless transition of being able to put that snap it, put the ball down and kick it. They do a heck of a job of working as a group, as a team, to be able to go out there and perform and do their job.
Were you ever a Holden?
Excuse me?
Were you ever a Holden?
No, I worked it a little bit last year, but that was the first time I ever got in that position.
Did that, when you worked it last year, did that give you a new appreciation for?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got to be flexible, but be ready to go. And just like any other position, that's a lot of pressure on that holder. You know, and those kickers are pretty particular about how they want that ball and how they want it held and what the angle and the spins. And, you know, one thing that I picked up was, you know, it's wild that you don't even think about it, but, like, you know, Liam knows how many rotations it's going to be from snap to catch. And, like, and Bradley knows that if the rotation's off, he's got to spin it right or he's got to spin it left. And so just the intricate details that they've figured out and that they've worked on, it's pretty crazy that a lot of people don't think about.
Going back to Sauce not betting, did you go up against him often in practice, like with the Bearcats? And, I mean, you feel like it's going to
help you? 1v1s? Yeah,
is it going to, do you think that'll help you at all, going up against him on?
I mean, yeah, it definitely helps than never going against them. You know, obviously being with them for 3 years or whatever it was, you know, it helps, you know, knowing your opponent and being able to figure out ways to attack them.
Hey, what's working on, we talked about the scrambles, but what's working on the runs inside the 22? You got 4 touchdowns out of that.
You're talking for myself?
Just offense and, you know, yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes from everything outside the 20. It just sets up everything inside, whether it's play action, run, like we said. You know, it's those front 5 up front doing their job. Then when you bring the tight ends and Keith and Tucker and Parker in there and bring them into the mix. And then also, you know, when we do the zone read stuff, just freeing up a guy, you know, let me read a guy and freeing it up, making them, you know, not be right. And so, you know, that's obviously where I've, you know, done a lot of my career at in the running game as a zone read. And so obviously it's paid off for us.
Des, could you just talk about the division race, being where you guys are this late in the year, you know, playoffs are the goal, a few games to go, just where you guys sit?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you look at last year too, coming into it, and, you know, there's not a lot of times where you go into week 16, week 17, and it's almost still up in the air, or, you know, it's still a fight. And you know, that's almost how it goes around the league. But, you know, for us, it's week by week. You know, we want to take one game at a time, be able to go 1-0 each week. And then, you know, you'll let the record take care of itself and let everything else play out. You can't affect or change the outcome of anyone else's games in your division. You can only control what you can control, and that's your game every Sunday.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
What can you say about, I mean, none of us were surprised, but Jessie Bates being named the defensive player of the week?
I mean, if you got a chance to watch him in practice, every day and see what he actually does in practice, it wouldn't be a surprise, because he goes out there and he works. He's a professional. He's not only working on the football field. He's in the meetings first. He's sitting right in the front row. He's understanding. He knows what he takes to go out and be a professional. And I know he did a great job of bringing him here. Getting him from Cincinnati, and now he's hopefully keep getting the young guys to understand, hey, look, this is what a professional looks like. This is what a professional does every day, and then you get the results you're supposed to get. It's not just happen by luck.
Yeah, so would you consider him a leader, like in that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, I think, when he came in the spring, he was kind of finding his way, because every guy that comes to a new team, you don't want to come in and say, okay, I'm going to be the leader. You don't lead like that, and I know he wouldn't try to do that. He came in, he worked his tail off, he did what he's supposed to do, and now they see him as a leader. And now he can go in and tell them, hey, let's do this, this, and this. But you're never going to walk in the building and say, I'm the leader. It doesn't happen like that.
Is there anybody from your career in the past who he reminds you of, any player, in terms of whether it's the way he plays, the way he prepares, anything about it?
Well, I mean, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to be around a lot of good safeties, and corners that understand. Like we had Adrian Amos when I was at Green Bay. I thought he had a couple of great years. That we had left Chicago, came to Green Bay. I was fortunate enough to have Harrison Smith. Same way, methodical about what they do. They go in the meeting room. They're always on the practice field. They're always healthy. If they're not healthy, they're getting treatment. I mean, they're professional. And, when I first started coaching, I had Blaine Bishop, same way. So I've been fortunate enough to have some all-pro guys that understand what it takes to be a good football player. And then you eventually become a leader of the team, and then you set the standard. And when the standard's set, then you can kind of go to other guys and say, hey, this is the standard we set. Let's make sure we hold each other accountable.
What we see on our end, Richie and Jessie couldn't be much more different personality-wise. Is that the way it is?
Most of the time. Trust me. I mean, again, if I told you Harrison Smith was the quietest guy you ever want to be around, and then I had Anthony Harris, I had Andrew Sendejo at Minnesota. Blaine Bishop was the fiery guy. And then guess what? I had Marcus Robinson, who's the DB coach at New Orleans. Really, really quiet, just go about his business. And then, you look at these two guys. Two guys are opposite, but they generally go out there and play well together. You can't have two guys that are fiery all the time, because now one guy's going to cancel out the other guy.
What do you think?
Bless you.
Jessie?
Well, to me, how to study. He sits right next to him, so he's in the front row also. And you could tell he takes notes, he understands. They're always talking about what's going on the film and how do you do this and how do you do that. And he knows that, okay, if I'm going to get to where Jessie is, I have to put in the same amount of time. Because you're not going to cut a corner and be good. Not in the NFL, they're going to figure you out. So he knows that if I'm going to attach myself to him, some of it's going to rub off, and then I got to eventually be my own guy. But he's kind of teaching him how to watch film. Because to me, a lot of young guys don't know how to watch film. They watch TV. They're amused by the players that they watch, and, oh, man, this guy's good. But they forget that his stem did this, and he did this, and he did that off the stem. That's how he caught the ball. You don't just go out there and watch TV. You have to really, really be good at breaking the film down and saying, this is how you study. This is what you do. This is how I be the defensive back. This is how I be the receiver. And then that's when you get good. I mean, God gave you the talent, so the talent's there. What are you doing with your brain? And I think that's what Richie has really taken from Jessie.
Desmond was just talking about guys getting pancaked in last Wednesday's practice, and there was a lot of post-game talk Sunday about how important that practice was for the intensity in the game. But week 12, week 13, how difficult is that to do again? And even though I know Calais Campbell said he challenged teammates to come do it again. But
yeah, I mean, to me, if you're going to be a good team, you have to show up every week. You can't just live on what you did last Sunday. That was over really on Monday. After you got patted on the back and all that, and then you went to sleep and woke up and all your friends text you. After that, it's over. Hey, you got to get ready to get in, get whatever you did good, get it out the way. Whatever you did bad, get it out the way, and get ready for the next opponent. And that's what good teams do. When you see teams win constantly, over and over and over, they're not lucky. They're good at what they do. They know how to put one game behind them and go to the next game. And that's really what we're trying to get our guys to understand. That game is over. You can't be patted on that game again. They're never going to give you 2 wins for beating the Saints. Not unless you beat them in the last game of the season. But that game is only counted 1. You got to get ready to go for the Jets.
But to follow up, you can't really expect to have a training camp level intensity.
Why can't
every
you?
week? Okay. Okay.
If you don't expect it, you're never going to get it, right? So if you start expecting it and the guys start understanding that here's our expectation, here's our standard, you get what you create as a standard. If we let them go back and up and down, it's going to be like a roller coaster. We're trying to get off that ride.
With the window opening up for Rodgers, but obviously still going through the process, could be Tim Boyle at quarterback, and most likely could be. He spent time in Green Bay as well. What can you disclose about Tim Boyle?
Well, I mean, I know he learned a lot from Aaron Rodgers. So when I was there for 2 years, he was kind of like Richie and Jessie. He's at the hip. He understands what's going on. He knows that Aaron Rodgers did a bunch of stuff that's not in the playbook. So, and I know he did a lot of stuff that wasn't in the playbook. So, which is good because now I can take control on the field and I can do the things I need to do that coaches can't all of a sudden call a play and think the player's going to look like that. Great football players always make coaches look good. Trust me, I know that one. And you know, I know Tim knows those things. And I know he just had his first start, you know, last week. And he's going to compete. You know, Aaron Rodgers is going to be in his ear, talking to him, getting him pointers on what we're doing on defense. So he's actually getting coached by a guy who can't play this week, but really, really, really good.
You talking to Desmond Ridder any extra about Sauce Gardner, getting any inside tips since they played together in college?
I mean, again, I'm pretty sure he knows him and some of the stuff that he's doing. So I'm pretty sure he's talking to all the receivers about what you can do to beat him. And again, Sauce is one of the top corners in the league. I watched him come out. I graded him as one of the top, you know, when he got drafted. So he's a really good football player. They got a really good defense, and they feed off each other. And, I mean, again, I watched him, and we played him, I think it may have been a couple of years ago when I was in Green Bay, and they were really, really good.
Going back to Jessie for a second, just curious what your genuine reaction was to the pick six.
It really, you know, expected. You know, when guys do what they're supposed to do and they read the quarterback, do what they're supposed to do, you make plays. And I'm constantly talking to those guys about being in position. Because if you're not in position, you can't make plays in the NFL because the guys are too good. So, you know, some guys try to cheat it and they come out on the wrong end. But when you're reading the quarterback, you're doing your job, and all of a sudden it looks like, oh, man, he made a great play, routine play, in our mind because you're supposed to do that. And if you're in a position, you'll make those plays. And a lot of times, like he missed the one in Houston on the over route. You know, that was a great play. He called the defense. Him and A.J. agreed. He just didn't catch it. So those are things that you expect players to do of his caliber and what he's done, and you expect for him to keep doing those.
Coach Smith was talking about consistency. You guys obviously on top of the division now, but how much harder is it to sustain that?
I don't think it's hard at all. I mean, to me, if you go out and practice hard on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, you know, we're going to take it easy, of course, on Saturday, fly. You go out there and you play your best. But if you up and down during the week, you're probably going to be up and down on Sunday. And we're trying to get them off of that one.
Do you sense maybe like a different energy or just like concentration coming off the bye week with this team? Like, did you feel a difference?
Well, I think we kind of got a chance to look and see who we were and what we are about. You know, do we want to be a physical team? Do we want to be this? Do we want to be that? Eliminate some of the stuff that we're not good at and put us in places, things that we are good. You know, just talking to veteran coaches like Tony and those guys, you hear what they tell you. Look, going to the season, when you start game planning, you do a whole bunch of stuff. But then eventually you're going to get back to who you are. And the faster you can get back to who you are, the better you're going to be. And that bye week kind of helped us look, say, hey, we're not good at these, throw them out. And let's do what we're really good at.
What is Marco doing to maybe push to get more playing time? Because that seems like that's been happening over the last few weeks.
Well, same thing we talk about practice. You know, he goes out every day, he practices, he competes. And when he was in training camp, he was doing the same thing. I know he made a couple interceptions in the Miami game. Made another interception in another game. So he proved that he can go through without game planning. And then all of a sudden, once we start game planning, can he retain what he's seen on film, take the game plan to the field? And now he's doing that. So, you know, he deserves to get more playing time. And he's a good football player, and all he's going to do is keep adding. You know, he's adding to Richie, he's adding to Jessie, he's adding to Micah. So we got young guys that you don't even see on the practice film. You guys can't see them, but we got a couple of young guys on practice squad that are really good. And hopefully when them guys keep maturing, they'll get a chance to go play also.
But you said, I mean, you saw the plays that he made in camp, and then you really didn't get much playing time at home. What, a few weeks ago, really, probably until you guys reached it. What, I guess, was that gap just him understanding game plans?
Yeah, that's kind of what guys do. When you're in training camp, you really don't game plan. You want to see what a guy can do without giving him any tips and pointers, you know. And then, oh, okay, he can make plays, he can do that. And then a lot of time guys kind of fall off because they're going against lesser competition. They're not going against a starter 60 plays a game. So now we say, okay, what is he doing against Des? What is he doing against these guys in practice? Now he's making plays in practice, so let's see what he can do in the game. Can he retain a game plan? Can he do what he's supposed to do? Is he going to be rogue? Is he going to do his job? So now once you see that, put him out there. And all of a sudden you see the guy we've seen in practice, or you see the guy we've seen in training camp. And that's what really I'm looking for. I don't want to take a guy from training camp and all of a sudden give him a starting job. That's not going to work unless he's really, really good.
Anything else?
All right, thank you guys.
Today being named the Defensive NFC Player of the Week, how was that received, and how do you feel to get that award?
Yeah, it's something that Art put on the presentation this morning. It's pretty cool to see it. It's a great honor, not just for me, but for this team, for this community, and what we want to be about, and that's the best. And I think it's just a great honor of making some good plays, but that's not possible without my teammates and all the other 10 guys that's on the field with me.
And Jessie, Aaron Rodgers back in practice. 21-day practice window opens for Aaron. Obviously, you guys could see him on Sunday. It's a possibility. How does that change things for you guys?
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool to see him out there. I'm sure he won't be out there, but a Hall of Fame type of player. You always look forward to wanting to play against a guy like that, but I'm sure he'll have some input on the game plan and stuff like that. So it'll be good. I'm happy to see him, progressing in the right way. Just praying for a speedy recovery for him.
All right, guys. Coach talked a lot about finding consistency, changing things at practice to find more momentum. It seemed to work. How do you guys as players go about in practice preaching that consistency to help that come in game day on Sunday?
Yeah, I just think that we can't let off the gas. We had a big win on Sunday, but we got to forget about that and understand that we're going into another hostile environment that the Jets have, and I think that they're a good team, good defense. So we can't worry about what we did on Sunday, and we got to understand that every single day needs to be a new day, and we need to just improve and continue to have fun and just be the more physical team in practice, so we can do it on Sunday. So I think that's where our mindset needs to be, because there's many times where we would win a game and then we'll lose the next week. I don't want to feel that no more. None of us do. So we want to keep on improving and making sure that we just don't have that feeling no more.
Do you pay much attention to where you maybe sit all-purpose yards-wise in comparison to other rookies, whether it's Puka or Gibbs, or do you look at that?
No, not really. Actually, somebody just told me what I got, so that's cool. But I mean, I don't play for stats or anything. I just play the game to maximize this team and help this team as much as I can. But yeah, I mean, somebody did tell me how much I have, but I got to keep on improving. I got to get better every day for myself, for the team. But I know that God has a plan for me, and I just got to keep on just going as hard as I can, so I can keep on trying to get the wins for our team.
Does it feel like that many yards?
Nah, it doesn't. I didn't even know that. People were talking about it, but I'm starting to feel good, and this is in the season, where I guess your body can start to feel it a little bit, but I'm still trailing along. I'm still, ready to go, and always ready for every single game.
When it comes to, go ahead, Mariah. You said you're starting to feel good. What's your level of comfort within this offense right now? We have 6 games left to go.
Yeah, obviously I got to keep improving, but I think that just getting the grasp of the offense and what the blockers are doing, what I have to do, what other receivers are doing, I'm starting to understand it all, and I'm trying to understand it at a quarterback level, I guess, and just keep on improving that way, because I have a lot more time on my hands, so seeing things different and reading different levels of defenses that I play against, that's a big thing for me. And even just knowing where the free hitters are before the play even starts, that's been helping me out a lot. But you know, it's those kind of things that I'm trying to keep improving on, especially the last 6 weeks and, you know, God willing in the playoffs too.
Was that something you mentioned, just trying to understand your quarterback well? Was that something you did at Texas, or is that new for you?
It's kind of new for me. You know, at Texas it was more like what I had to do and how I had to read it. So I never felt like I had time to, like, you know, just sit down and see what the O-lineman had to do, and, you know, had time to, like, meet with the quarterbacks all the time because we had class and other stuff that we had going on. So now I feel like I have some time to really sit down and do it, and especially like this whole season, how I've been getting better at it. You know, it's been really good for me.
So how does that impact you then? I mean,
just anticipation on the field, anticipating where guys are coming from. You know, when I run the ball, just understanding, you know, different levels of what I need to do. Even just like running routes, reading coverages, reading backers and safeties, and different zone reads. But all those little things that I never really did in college, like I'm starting to, you know, do it now in the NFL.
Just curious, what compelled you to start thinking that way, thinking, okay, I need to start reading things like a quarterback?
Yeah, so it was actually a conversation I had with LaDainian Tomlinson, and we talked a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, and he was saying, you know, it's those little things that are gonna, you know, make you who you want to become. And, you know, I've been doing it for this whole season now, and I got to really talk to him, you know, when I talked to him, and he was saying that's what he did, and that's what he started to do. And his first year, it was a learning process for him, but he said when he got it, you know, obviously he had a Hall of Fame career, but he's been, you know, checking up on me, and I get to talk to him a lot just about little different things that he's done off the field, and then obviously how he, like, take care of his body and all those little things that, you know, made him who he was.
How much of a difference do you feel like this has really made for you? I mean, you said you've been doing it all year, but you're a rookie, you've got a lot thrown at you, and now you're adding this other piece to what you have to do. How much do you feel like this has helped?
It's helped a lot. It's helped a lot. Even just me and Coach Petrie, my running back coach, like, just how much we watch film too, and how much we see little things that I probably would never have seen before, and how to anticipate different stuff. Like, it's starting to help me out a lot. And we just want to just keep on doing it, keep on, you know, growing. Obviously, like, it can get mentally taxing sometimes because you want to do something else, but I know that, you know, in order to be the best player, you know, I want to be, I have to do those little things like that. So, you know, it's just something that I got to keep on, you know, disciplining myself to do and just have fun doing it.
When it comes to running back trios, you guys are second in the NFC right now in total yards behind Detroit.
Nice.
Between UCP and Tyler. What's the impact of you guys having that consistent rotation, and then looking back on last Sunday, how effective you guys were in different spots?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fresh legs. Like, when you have fresh legs and, you know, you'll have CP out there and me out there at the same time, and they don't know who to stop or who to look at or who's going to get the ball. And then you got Ty coming in and, you know, being the hammer that he is, like, it takes a lot of different – and then we have 3 different running styles. So you don't know what you're going to get when we're out there, and you got to prepare for so many different things. And then when you have the O-line blocking, how they're blocking, and how they just dominate it, like, then it really – obviously, we love it, and it helps us a lot as an offense. But then, you know, as a defense, you got to, you know, see, you know, what's gonna happen, who's gonna come, because we're trying to roll. So having those 3 different style runners and, you know, all downhill type of guys and all 220 plus, like, it's something that really helps us out.
I know you talked in training camp about, you know, kind of gelling with the offensive line a little bit, learning how they go about it. Now that you're, you know, 10, 11 games in, you know, what do you really appreciate about this offensive line now that you've had a bunch of reps with them?
Yeah, I mean, they work hard. Like these guys come out and practice every day and are trying to strain, like, to the end. And I'm like, man, I mean, they do it every single practice, and, you know, they don't come out. You know, they're in every single play. You know, all 5 of them just in every single play. And I'm like, man, like, I respect you guys a lot. And they finish too. Like, they finish 15, 20 yards down the field, come right back. So now that I see, like, towards the end of the season when, you know, teams start to, you know, ground and pound, and, you know, that's how you win the games in December and January, February, like, now I see how it's going to pay off in the games because they just work so hard and condition for it, you know, every single day. And we're right behind them doing it too.
It seems like they've been gelling a lot more in the last few weeks. Why do you think that is?
Just, you know, for them, like they understand that, you know, we have a goal at the end of the day, and we want to be the best team in the NFL. So, you know, we're all going to do what we can do to, you know, maximize the effort, maximize, you know, what we're trying to do in order to, you know, find that end goal. So, you know, we're all coming together as a unit, and, you know, we're starting to discipline each other in how we want to work and how we want to run the football, pass the football, so we can help the whole team, the defense. But now, you know, seeing what we saw on Sunday, like that was pretty cool to see. Especially like for us running behind them, like those are some big dudes that are just trying to maximize the whole opportunity.
Did you see that play where Chris?
Oh.
Did you see that one?
I saw that. Did you see the play where Caleb took the dude all the way to the sideline? Yeah, to see like that kind of energy right there, that's what fires us up. So that was cool.
Bijan, do you have a relationship with LaDainian Tomlinson, or how did that conversation come about?
I do. So we talked. We started talking the beginning of this year, and you know we got on the phone and I FaceTimed him and we talked for like 30 minutes. And after that conversation, we always just like kind of stayed in touch. He was always asking me like, "How you feeling? You know, how's the process going?" But now that I'm here, you know, we've really been trying to communicate more and to find each other's groove.
Did that relationship kind of come about just because you guys have been
so my coach, Coach Choice at Texas, running back coach, they're really good friends.
Okay.
And so Coach Choice gave me his number, and he knew that I wanted to talk to him. And so ever since then, he was so open for it, and we've been talking ever since.
All right, so you're going against, potentially one of the best corners, Sauce Gardner. Just have you been talking to Desmond Ridder at all? He went up against him in college a few times. He's giving you any tips or anything on how to face him on Sunday?
No, not really. I mean, obviously he knows a little bit about him, but I mean, I'm going to attack it like every other week, you know. I think that the best player on the other side of the ball is going against me every time I go out there, so I got to play to my best ability.
What have you seen on film just from Sauce Gardner, and how do you look forward to attacking him on Sunday?
Yeah, he's a great athlete. You know, I just can't wait to go out there and compete against him and just see how it goes.
When it comes to just I talked with Coach Schmidt, obviously opposite. When it comes to momentum, he said momentum's not really a thing, it's more about the confidence. Do you feel when it comes to maybe momentum or ever, like you can bring confidence into another matchup on Sunday?
I mean, confidence is everything, and confidence leads to momentum, so like, and it does both ways, so like vice versa, whatever it is. Confidence leads to momentum, momentum leads to confidence, so you go out there and just play a game, and I think it should lead to a W.
Have you guys paid at all attention to Aaron Rodgers and being activated and all the hoopla? I mean, potentially about coming back or not coming back. Do you guys talk about that often?
I mean, obviously it's up there, so you kind of see it, and it's kind of miraculous how his body was able to do that and come back from that in such a span of time. So it's cool to see, honestly, that medicine is getting to that level now.
What are your thoughts on this game?
It'll be a good one. I mean, I'm excited to watch it. My dog's gonna show up, but I think they'll show up and do their thing.
As a player with perspective about the SEC championship, describe just how cool it is, the atmosphere, everything like that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like it's a game that means a lot. I don't think there's a championship game that means more. The SEC, you win that, you got a fast track to winning an Natty. So it's one step we got to make.
You're going to obviously watch where you're going to watch. I mean, you guys will be...
We will be traveling. Yeah, so I'll be in New York, but I'll be watching and cheering on for sure.
We've been talking about potentially Aaron Rodgers being activated. Maybe. What are your thoughts of him just even making a comeback and returning to practice?
Impressive. It's impressive. Just to go through an injury like that, that's huge. And for him to be able to get back and be able to play, have a possibility to play, I mean, that's big time. So kudos to him. Hats off to the doctors and the staff that got him there. But we got to take care of business with whoever they put out there.
Aside from you just saying it's impressive, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see that Aaron Rodgers is back in practice?
No way. Yeah, no way. It's unbelievable. But, I mean, I'm sure they're going to be smart. I'm sure he's going to do everything the right way and just be smart with it all.
Seems like this defense took another step in the right direction this past Sunday. How do you feel like you guys are evolving now with 6 games left?
Yeah, we just got to keep playing ball, keep showing up, and just executing. We do a lot of good things, and it's just those one-offs that we got to keep eliminating And I think if we keep doing that, keep getting better, the sky's the limit.
How fun is it to play with a guy like Jessie Bates?
Oh, man, it's great. It's great. He's back there. He's an ultimate eraser, and you love having erasers that play behind you.
Even if it's not Aaron Rodgers, how much do you guys take into account that if it's Tim Boyle, he's still learning from a guy like Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, it's the league. That's what I'm like. It doesn't matter who they put out there. We got to show up and play. We've let some guys come out and have big games against us, quarterbacks who other people really didn't know too much about, so it doesn't matter. We got to show up, play our best game, and put our best foot forward.